See that we're not bystanders in the world. It's decisions, not conditions, that determine our fate and future. And that fundamental notion of agency, I think, is important more broadly. And I think that goes to some of the issues around, victimization. And I see a lot of that, respectively, on the right, increasingly, even with Trump often approaching things from that sort of.
Like a secret agent on the California scene, Gavin Newsom makes his entrance. Confident, polished, and armed with enough styling product to survive a storm, he radiates a sense of untouchable charm, as if the spotlight exists solely for him. Then Tyrus steps in, a towering presence brimming with the force of hard truths and the power of sheer muscle. Even the cameras seem to pause, caught in the gravity of his words. This isn't just criticism, it's precision with a bite sharp enough to leave a mark. And believe me, the fallout is inevitable.
What I saw, it looked to me like he was negotiating with a deaf prostitute.
The myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor, down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter.
California shines like the perfect snapshot of the American dream. Sun-kissed beaches, sparkling waves, and endless glamour. Mornings start with the ocean's welcome. Evenings glow under rooftop lights, and green smoothies seem to flow as freely as the sunshine. But the picture cracks when the glitz fades. Suddenly, the Golden State feels less like paradise and more like a wild, unpredictable scene straight out of a chaotic streaming show.
Back and watch the tape. Yes! He literally goes, I want some of this, then you do some of this, and I'll do some of that back to you, and then we'll do this, and then I'll pay you, and then we'll do it again.
True.
And then she kept saying, no. Okay, how about this? You do this one first, then we do this one, then we give a little back and forth.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and get ready for this eye-opening takedown. The support you'll see is truly astonishing. Meanwhile, the streets look like they've been lifted straight from a post-apocalyptic movie. Taxes land harder than a heavyweight punch, and people are leaving the state as if it's an Olympic sprint. In the middle of all this chaos stands Gavin Newsom, looking like he just walked off the cover of a fashion magazine. Perfectly coiffed hair, flawless smile, and seemingly no concern for the turmoil around him. To him, the mayhem is just background noise for his next glamorous shot.
I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent more.
Like the lead in a big Hollywood blockbuster, he delivers his speeches with flair, pausing for dramatic effect, sweeping his hands, and wearing that confident smirk that says, "Don't worry, I've got this." But here's the catch. The whole production has turned into a blooper reel, even with Newsom in the starring role. Businesses are leaving as if it's routine, homelessness keeps climbing, and everyday residents are left wondering why they're paying Beverly Hills prices to live in a place that feels more like a Gotham City sequel than paradise.
I'll be in the car.
Yes, I think you've done enough this evening. You can take the rest of the week off.
Thank you.
Charlie,
we've all been there, right?
Yes, we have. Yeah, it's noisy in this
Sorry,
city.
every time I look, I just see him going. I'm sorry.
You know, another option it could be, because he's doing the whole rebrand with the podcast, and he's trying to.
When Tyrus steps in, the energy spikes. He's not here to rehearse lines or sugarcoat anything. His words hit like a punch, blunt and undeniable. Tyrus brings grit while Newsom delivers finesse. One hands out reality checks, the other flaunts perfectly styled hair. Picture it, chest out, hair gleaming in its own spotlight. Newsom strides forward, proud of California's so-called golden progress. But San Francisco and Los Angeles, once sparkling jewels, now feel like extreme obstacle courses. Tyrus doesn't perform. He pierces through the illusion effortlessly. How can the state that promises paradise resemble a live-action zombie scene? The utopia Newsom touts feels more like a set from The Walking Dead.
I just filled California up with water. Governor's pissed and sent pictures. LOL post. Who doesn't love this president?
Let's talk business. Once upon a time, California was the ultimate hub of innovation, home to Napa Valley's vineyards, Silicon Valley's tech giants, and Hollywood's stars. The dream was built right here. But under Newsom's watch, companies are bailing faster than a contestant realizing the bachelor still lives with his parents. Jobs and headquarters are vanishing, with people packing up for Texas, Florida, and even Nevada. Imagine choosing desert heat over California's taxes. That says everything. And who's brave enough to point it out? Tyrus, of course. He gives voice to what everyone's thinking. If people are running from paradise, maybe it isn't paradise anymore. Remember when Newsom urged everyone to stay home, mask up, and make sacrifices for the greater good? While everyday Californians were cutting their own hair, attending funerals over Zoom, and rationing toilet paper, he was sipping wine with lobbyists beneath sparkling chandeliers, like a modern-day Gatsby pretending all was fine. Look again now. Notice the flicker beneath the shine.
You can watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending. I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants. And then, look, he's blinking. And then eventually, the camera guy realizing that he's signaling him, so he gets appalled, leans back, camera comes down, and then we're back to this. I'll do this for you. You do this for me a little. So he's saying whatever he's going to say. There it is. See, they couldn't hold him back. He's like, I'm not on film. Oh, I'm not. Nope.
His leadership at that dinner was something to behold. Luxuries for the king, limits for everyone else. But Tyrus doesn't just mention it, he mocks it with precision. You can almost hear the clinking of silverware as he paints the scene. Newsom swirling fine wine, saying, we're all in this together, while ordinary Californians sat at home in sweatpants eating reheated pizza. The hypocrisy is almost theatrical. But Tyrus doesn't stop there. He doesn't need polished talking points or scripted lines. He just tells it straight. Crime, homelessness, gas prices, they're all climbing. And the California dream now sounds more like a sentence than a promise. And that's why people listen. He's not quoting statistics. He's describing reality. He's honest, direct, and cuttingly funny while doing it.
Well, speaking of full of isn't it? I'm sorry, I'm confused. He's still governor, right?
Yes.
So he could do something about it. That's the most irritating thing, is that why did anyone say with a follow-up where he's like, the homeless situation is ridiculous? Follow-up question, aren't you governor?
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference. That's the difference between the radical left and President Trump. He'll talk about something as it...
He covers it all because the aftermath is just too revealing to ignore. On one side, everyday people nod in agreement, relieved that someone is finally saying out loud what they've been thinking for years. On the other, Newsom's defenders rush to his aid, brushing off Tyrus as just another performer or tossing out quick rebuttals. But here's the twist. It speaks volumes when the guy known for body slams makes more sense than the governor of America's biggest state. Tyrus doesn't need spin or statistics. He just points to the wreckage everyone can already see. It's not working. Newsom still insists California is a shining symbol of progress and possibility. Yet, step outside the glossy streets of Rodeo Drive and the illusion fades fast. The lights have dimmed, the streets are cracked, and the state's future looks like it's being held together by denial and duct tape.
He's playing with us. You get my house, you get mine, I get yours. It'll work out.
Paul, are they capable of soul searching? It feels like the party itself has no soul.
Yeah, I know, they have no soul. You know, it's a really interesting statement. If you just kind of, you can break it in two. He spends the whole first part of that saying, we lost because this. Essentially what he says is, folks, we were on the wrong side of every issue last year.
In the end, Tyrus cuts straight through the glossy illusion like a blade through glass. Shiny drone shots of beaches and skylines don't impress him. He looks directly at what they never show. Stores shuttered by endless red tape. Families unsure whether to rent a place or pitch a tent and pretend it's camping with perks. Rows of tents stretch beneath overpasses like silent protests. And here's the kicker. If dysfunction were an Olympic sport, California would take the gold. At the center stands Newsom, the picture of contradiction. Leading amid chaos and owning your flaws is one thing, but strutting around untouchable while sneaking off to lavish lunches as citizens can't even grab a coffee, that's a whole new level of hypocrisy.
He's going to go up and say, listen, I'm going to sign an executive order to stop homelessness, and here's how we're going to do it. The border. Bam. The border. Done. 5 days later, 99% no one's crossed. They're standing at the border like, you go. No, you go. Like, no one wants...
Newsom's infamous dinner with lobbyists at a Michelin-starred restaurant wasn't just a scandal. It was a statement of arrogance. While Californians were told to postpone weddings, funerals, and even Thanksgiving dinners, he sat under glittering chandeliers, twirling truffle pasta as if the rules simply didn't apply to him. Tyrus doesn't let that slide. He treats it like Exhibit A in a courtroom, laying it out for everyone to see. You decide, he says, letting the hypocrisy speak for itself. People haven't forgotten being scolded for breaking the very rules their governor ignored. And here's the thing, hypocrisy doesn't just irritate people, it infuriates them. Tyrus doesn't have to exaggerate or stir outrage. He just paints the scene so vividly you can picture it. The laughter, the fine wine, the polished menu, while everyone else was stuck at home trying to master sourdough. This wasn't just tone deaf, it was a slap in the face to the very people he was elected to serve.
Recall campaign still arguing that all politics is local. I still had a romantic notion of that. I intellectualized that a lot of our politics and the discourse was national. I didn't fully appreciate how nationalized our politics have become. In so many ways, that shape-shifted a lot of what we're doing and who I am today. But this last year, these last 6-7 months, this is something altogether different.
That's what makes Tyrus's style hit so hard. He doesn't rant or shout, he just delivers truth wrapped in humor, and everyone ends up nodding along. Because sometimes the only way to face the absurdity of reality is to laugh at it. But beneath every joke, Tyrus exposes something real. Charts can't capture California's problems. Millions of people live them every single day. Parents worry about their kids walking home because crime has spiked. Gas prices are so high that road trips practically pay for themselves. Once safe neighborhoods now resemble makeshift campgrounds. That's the punchline. It's not about headlines or slogans. It's about real people. Results speak louder than any polished speech, and in California, the results are impossible to ignore. By shining a light on the cracks everyone pretends not to see, Tyrus proves that honesty doesn't need fancy words. It just needs courage.
Yeah, his hands are just weird though, Tyrus. They're always doing funky things.
Yeah, I thought it had something to do with the California budget cuts and stuff, since they didn't have a hearing impaired transitioner anymore. I'm not paying money for that. I'll do it myself.
For all of California's boundless beauty and potential, Tyrus reminds everyone that the state can't even keep the lights on during a heat wave. Despite boasting the 5th largest economy in the world, families are packing up for Arizona, drawn by lower prices and basic stability. What makes Tyrus so compelling is his grounded voice. He sounds like the guy you'd run into at a gas station, grumbling about the governor's latest stunt while shaking his head at sky-high prices. He sounds like a real Californian, and that's why people listen. They live this chaos every day, and his words feel like validation. Tyrus doesn't just watch the fire, he laughs, points at it, and says what everyone else is too afraid to admit. Maybe it's time to rethink the idea that California sets the standard for the rest of the country. Maybe the shiny postcard we've been shown isn't real. And maybe, just maybe, it's time for leaders who do more than pose for pictures. It's time for leaders who actually fix things.
You know, with a bubble.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you were the sign person for the TV going?
He reminds me there of, remember the guy who did the sign language at Mandela's funeral?
That's why Tyrus's critique hits like a hammer. It isn't about politics, it's about truth. Plain, unfiltered truth, delivered with a mix of sarcasm and sting, no scripts or sugarcoating required. He reminds people that no amount of spin can hide what's right in front of their eyes. Sure, the beaches still shimmer under the sun, but on the way there, you'll pass rows of tents beneath overpasses. California still glows, but the shine is fading fast under the weight of soaring taxes, rising crime, and growing chaos. Tyrus forces people to see through the illusion. He proves that leadership isn't about perfect hair or polished speeches, it's about accountability. And under Newsom, California seems guided more by feelings than by foresight. The worst part? No one's even shocked anymore. The double standards, the hypocrisy, the scandals, they've become routine. In the Golden State, it's just another Tuesday.
If I was in the White House, this is one of the first things I would do. Clean up your streets. Instead of sending our military men and women out to other places to make other countries safe, make our streets safe. How is this an argument? If you don't like it, what's not to like? Other than that you have to tip your hat to the Orange Devil. That's the problem. Then you know what? Find a way to make it your own. Like, no, you will not bring in 1,500 National Guards. We will only allow 1,200. And then call it a bit. Clean up your neighborhoods. Leave the politics out. To go out on the waterfront at 6 o'clock in the morning. But notice he wasn't filming himself.
When Tyrus lets loose, the illusion collapses completely. The humor may soften the blow, but the sting lingers long after the laughter fades. And that's when it gets truly interesting. What happens when Tyrus's blunt truths start to crack Newsom's carefully polished image? What if the Hollywood shine gives way to empty storefronts, leaders who care more about branding than people, and promises that never materialize? California might still look flawless on Instagram, but Tyrus has stripped away the Valencia filter, and now the raw picture can't be ignored. No speech can rebuild the illusion once it's shattered. The dream has lost its glow, and Californians are left facing the reality they live every day. That's when Tyrus says what everyone's been whispering: the truth is out, the mask is off, and the golden fantasy has crumbled. His honesty hits harder than any press conference or polished ad because it feels real. And if one voice can shake the illusion this much, imagine what could happen if more people spoke up. The cracks widen, the shine fades, and suddenly California's crown looks tarnished. Tyrus didn't cause the chaos, he simply pulled back the curtain. And for the first time, everyone can finally see what's been hiding behind it all along.
Oh, well, speaking of full of I'm sorry, I'm confused. He's still governor, right?
Yes.
So he could do something about it. That's the most irritating thing, is that why did anyone say with a follow-up where he's like, the homeless situation is ridiculous? Follow-up question, aren't you governor?
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference. That's the difference between the radical left and President Trump. They'll talk about.
This is the end of the line. The illusion has dissolved, the shimmer has cracked, and in the harsh daylight, the truth stands bare. Tyrus didn't rewrite California's story. He simply read it aloud, page by page, in a way no politician ever could. His mix of biting humor and raw realism slices through the noise, forcing everyone to confront what's been ignored for far too long. For Newsom, charm is no longer an escape route. The glossy magazine covers, the practiced smiles, the perfectly staged photo ops, all of it collapses under the weight of reality. People finally see it for what it truly is: a flawless performance masking a poorly written script. That's where Tyrus's brilliance lies. He doesn't need to shout. No speech, no statistic lands harder than his straight delivery of the facts. Even when the crowd laughs, they know it's not funny. Irony is simply wrapping around the truth. California may still call itself the Golden State, but the shine has dimmed and the cracks are impossible to ignore. Tyrus didn't just roast a governor, he exposed a system that's been stagnant for too long. And once the truth comes into focus, there's no turning away. The stage lights are dimmed, the curtains drawn back, and what's left in the spotlight isn't glamour, it's reality. And it's not pretty.